A major French taxi company suspended its fleet of Tesla Model 3 cars after one of these mysteriously accelerated and hit multiple pedestrians in Paris, killing one. Here are the details. Reuters reports that Paris's biggest taxi company, called G7, has suspended its fleet of 37 Tesla Model 3 cars after a fatal accident that the driver blamed on the car malfunctioning. The accident happened when an off-duty taxi driver took his family to a restaurant on the evening of Saturday, December 11th. According to initial reports, the car started accelerating when the driver tried to brake by pressing his foot on the brake pedal. The car then careened down the road, hitting multiple pedestrians, some pavement fittings, and a traffic light, before crashing into a van. One person was killed and 20 people were injured, some seriously. In the U.S., there have been reports of more than 200 incidents involving Teslas unexpectedly accelerating and crashing. The Federal Car Safety Agency concluded in January that the incidents were the fault of drivers confusing their brake and accelerator pedals and were not due to vehicle defects. G7 said in a statement that it suspended the Model 3 cars as a precaution while the French police investigation is being conducted. Tesla collects detailed data from the sensors and cameras on its vehicles and has used such data in the past to challenge claims that accidents were caused by malfunctioning technology. The car maker said it remotely accessed this data on the accident car and found no problem with the car. Last week, the Las Vegas City Council voted to approve the Boring Company's plan for a citywide loop system. A Boring Company loop system consists of tunnels in which Tesla autonomous electric vehicles travel at high speeds between stations to transport people within a city. The first system is currently being built at the Las Vegas Convention Center, but the Boring Company now plans to connect the convention center's loop to casinos on the Strip in order to eventually create a citywide loop. The plan is to eventually build a 15-mile tunnel system that will go all the way from the McCarran Airport to the Fremont Street Experience in the north, with stops along all the major resorts along the Strip. The planned tunnel would also loop westward around the Allegiant Stadium and the Orleans Hotel. Officials have said that Boring Company will cover the cost of building the main artery of the loop. Hotels that want loop stations will be responsible for paying those costs. Zero public dollars would be going into this system, said Boring Company's president, Steve Davis.
Tiger Woods was badly injured but miraculously survived after the SUV he was driving left the road, hit a tree, and rolled. Here's how it happened. On Tuesday, February 23rd, around 7 a.m., Tiger Woods left the Turania Seaside Resort in an SUV. ESPN reports that he was on his way to an 8 a.m. appointment at the Rolling Hills Country Club and that he was running late. He proceeded to drive in a northerly direction on Hawthorne Boulevard on a downhill stretch known for accidents caused by overspeeding, due to the sharp downward slope and subtle curving of the road. Just seconds after passing the intersection with Black Horse Road, his car left the right lane, crossing the center divider and the oncoming lane. The car then flipped over, hit a tree, and slid for dozens of yards through trees and bushes. A neighbor called 911 at 7:12 a.m. The Los Angeles Fire Department arrived at 7:28 a.m. and worked to extricate Woods from the vehicle, using various tools to remove the windshield and safely remove Woods. He was then taken to a nearby hospital where he underwent surgery on a shattered ankle and leg fractures. Rescue workers said Tiger is lucky to be alive.
A small plane has crashed into a residential area in California, causing fatalities. Here's what you need to know. At least 2 people died when a private twin-engine C-340 Cessna plane crashed in Southern California on Monday afternoon, according to CNN. The plane came down in the city of Santee in San Diego County at about 12:14 p.m., according to the Federal Aviation Administration, with NBC7 San Diego explaining that the pilot had failed in an attempt to land in a nearby field after some sort of issue. As the plane went down toward the intersection of Greencastle and Jeremy Streets, witnesses said its wing made contact with a UPS truck that was nearing a stop sign, which killed its driver. The plane's fuselage then slid toward 2 homes and exploded, with Santee Fire Department Battalion Chief Justin Matsushita telling reporters 2 or 3 other houses had also sustained damage, according to Fox 5 San Diego. 2 residents were rescued by a group of neighbors. Fox 5 San Diego reports that this is the 3rd private plane to crash in the city within the last 6 years, but there is some evidence this is part of an even wider phenomena. According to a USA Today investigation, almost 45,000 people have been killed over the past 5 decades in private planes and helicopters, which is almost 9 times the number to have died in airline crashes. In 2014, for instance, one person was killed and another injured after another small private plane crash landed in a San Diego parking lot. The plane, a single-engine Mooney M20, was carrying a pilot, a 52-year-old woman, and an 80-year-old female passenger. While attempting to make a landing at Montgomery Field Airport, that aircraft bounced and continued westbound. The plane next clipped the top of a department store and knocked down a light fixture before crashing into the parking lot of a busy shopping center. Similarly, in 2015, 3 people aboard a small plane were killed when a Beechcraft BE-36 bound for Norwood Memorial Airport crashed into a family home in Plainville, Massachusetts. The pilot reportedly told an air traffic controller that he was experiencing engine failure a few minutes before the plane crashed into the top rear end of the house. A family of 4 escaped from the building unharmed, but Massachusetts State Police said the 2 adults and a child on board the plane were killed. In 2014, USA Today reported that federal investigators attributed these kinds of private crashes to pilot errors 86% of the time. However, there were repeated instances in which crashes, deaths, and injuries were caused by defective parts and dangerous designs, which cast doubt on the government's official rulings. USA Today's investigation claimed at the time to reveal the inner workings of an industry hit so hard by legal claims that it sought and won liability protection from Congress. That would likely be no consolation to Domingo Galicia, who was in his trailer with his daughter at the Marmac Colony Club mobile home at Lake Worth, Florida, before a small plane crashed into it in 2015. He told CBS Miami he stepped outside his home just before the plane went down. But his daughter, 21-year-old Banny Galicia, was inside the trailer when the plane landed on top of it, and Galicia told local media she was killed. 2 mobile homes, including Galicia's, caught fire after the crash. The trailer park's management said 3 bodies were pulled from the wreckage. The causes of these crashes are reported on far less often than the crashes themselves, but in the cases of another crash in 2015, which killed 2 first-year college students in Madison County, New York, engine problems were immediately identified as the source of the problem. The 2 19-year-old Colgate University students rented a single-engine Cessna plane from Hamilton Municipal Airport. The plane reportedly encountered engine problems shortly after takeoff. The pair sent a distress signal before the plane crashed into a wooded area in the town of Eaton, and both students died at the scene. Sometimes these things are simply crazy accidents, like in 2014 when a single-engine Cirrus SR-22 plane was traveling from Cleveland, Tennessee to Frederick, Maryland, and it collided with a Robinson R-44 helicopter in mid-air near the Frederick Municipal Airport. The airplane deployed a parachute that helped it to descend, while the helicopter broke into pieces after hitting the ground, killing the 3 occupants.
For more news animations and explainers, hit the subscribe and bell button to join the TomoNews family. Thanks for watching.